3,000 words. You drive to work, you listen to the radio, another 1,000, 1,500 words. You spend all day talking to people. The average person consumes 12,000 words a day. What do you learn every day with your 12,000 words? Not too much. Not too much. Our meetings are mostly words. We sit around and talk to each other, sometimes for hours on end. Our messages are mostly words. I mean, one thing about the digital era is we're spilling out words like crazy. Absolutely. Our speeches are mostly words. Our marketing plans are mostly words. You ever see a marketing plan from a big company? Sometimes, I'm not kidding, 100 pages, all words. Our marketing books are mostly words. Yet, the best way into a mind is not with words at all. What do you remember today? Remember the paper commercials. That's the thing you're going to remember.
We remember the word focus.
Not the words. The best way into the mind is with a visual. And the thing about the digital era, which you may not realize, we are going more and more to video. Not the words, not even the still pictures. We're going to video. It's like BMW wasn't built by words alone. It wasn't just the ultimate driving machine that built the BMW their brand. Without the television commercials that showed happy owners driving their BMWs around winding roads, that campaign would not have worked at all. It would not. It was the visuals that hammered in the ultimate driving machine, not the words. The truth is, you need both. You need a memorable slogan, words, but you also need what we call a visual hammer. To hammer those words inside the prospect's mind. You need both, not just words. In today's over-communicated society, words alone are not going to work. They're just not going to work. Look at Coca-Cola's visual hammer. The contour bottle, which hammers in the idea that Coca-Cola is the original cola. Coca-Cola is the real thing. And in America, at least, look how Coca-Cola is using the real thing. Look at our cans of Coke. Look at our cups. They all got their visual hammer on. The contour bottle. Look at the advertising. Authentic. With the contour bottle. Look at our billboards. Coca-Cola, real thing. Our delivery trucks. Even where am I pointing at now?
I think it's out there.
Okay. Point it this way? Yeah. All right. Look at this. This is the chief marketing officer of the Coca-Cola company. What does he have on his calling card? You know what he's got on his calling card? A picture of the bottle, of course. That's the visual that drives in the important message that this is authentic, this is the real thing, this is Coca-Cola. A cowboy is a visual hammer. Oh boy, my finger arm isn't working today, I think. There we go. The Cowboy is a visual hammer that built the Marlboro brand. The Cowboy. You know how many cowboys are left in the world today? There's only 52 left. Believe me, when you smoke the way those cowboys smoke, you don't live very long. I mean, there are not very many cowboys at all. So, here's a cigarette brand directed at cowboys? Incredible. But, here's the but. The Cowboy hammers a verbal nail. What's the verbal nail? It's the masculine cigarette. You see, a cigarette is a phallic symbol of masculinity. That's why women like to smoke a cigarette. You know? A symbol of they are equal with men these days, and that's the symbol, the cigarette. Right? How successful is Marlboro? You don't want to know. It's the world's best-selling cigarette. $14.8 billion. Number 2, Winston. 6.5 billion. Number 3, Wild 7, Japanese brand. Number 4, Camel. Matter of fact, Marlboro outsells the number 2 brand, Winston, by 130%. A cowboy. Now, every year you mentioned Interbrand. Every year Interbrand, the global branding consultant, comes out with a list of 100 best or most valuable global brands. The 100 best. Now, there has never been a Mexican brand on the list until 4 years ago, when Corona Extra made the list. Corona. Now the question is, how could a cheap, working class beer with a painted label become one of the 100 most valuable brands in the world? I'll tell you how. Here's how. With a lime. A lime on top of the bottle. That's the visual hammer. Typical party in America, Corona with the lime. Nobody serves a bottle of Corona without having a lime on top of the bottle. The lime is a visual hammer that communicates the authenticity of the brand, a genuine Mexican beer. Mexico is a lime country. We don't know in America what a lime is, matter of fact. I mean, America is a lemon country. We're awash in lemon and lemonades, but not in lime. Lime is exotic. That's what built the Corona brand. With these visual successes, BMW, Corona, Marlboro, Coca-Cola, very good. You might think that every brand would use a visual hammer. But they don't. They don't. Less than 1% of all brands in the world have what we call a visual hammer. What about your brand? You have a slogan, but you have a visual? Most brands don't. In a word-oriented world today, verbal slogans are useless because you can't find a visual hammer to hammer the verbal nails into consumers' minds. In the future, if all you have is a slogan, if all you have are words, it's probably not going to work. Take BMW, for example. I mean, suppose instead of the ultimate driving machine, suppose they said the high performance machine. High performance? How can you visualize something called high performance? Most of the attributes used in advertising cannot be visualized. How do you visualize low maintenance? How do you visualize high quality? How do you visualize customer satisfaction? How do you visualize all those words you read about in those marketing plans? You can't. You can't. The more abstract the word, the harder they are to visualize. And yet, what do people look for? They look for these big, long words that make the product seem terrific, but these are words. They don't work today. Take the 6 largest automobile brands in America: Ford, Chevrolet, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Hyundai. 3 from Japan, doing terrific in the American market, that's for sure. Here they're advertising slogans: go further, find new roads, let's go places, start something special, innovation that excites, new thinking, new possibilities. None of these can be visualized. The average American has no idea what slogan goes with which brand, in spite of the fact that the industry spends billions of dollars in advertising every year. Hey, look at Japan. Look at Japan. Look at the 6 largest consumer electronic companies in Japan and their slogans. Inspire the next, make believe, ideas for life, leading innovation. Possibilities are infinite, empowered by innovation. Wait a second. One is leading innovation, and the other is empowered by innovation. Which is which? Take Sony. One of the best known and most admired companies in the entire world. In the entire world. In the past 10 years, Sony has had sales of $757 billion. In America, we could start a war for that kind of money, you know? So, in the last 10 years, how much money did Sony make? Didn't make any money. They lost $1.5 billion. The best known, most admired brand in the world, and you can't make money with it? Something is rotten in Denmark here. And the things are not getting better. Sony just announced that their latest year forecast was to lose another $2.14 billion. That's a lot of yen. I can't even multiply that anymore. What's a Sony? You go in a store and say, I want to buy a Sony. I want you to show me all the Sonys you have for sale. The person's going to look at you like you're crazy. What do you mean, what's a Sony? Is it a camera? Is it a video game player? Is it a TV set? Is it a computer? Is it a smartphone? What's a Sony? When you make everything under one brand name, you can't find a slogan specific enough for a visual memory. What about Apple? Doesn't Apple make everything? I got bad news for you. Apple isn't a product. Apple is a company. I mean, in America, nobody says, I bought an Apple. I've never heard anybody say, I take that back. Unless, of course, they bought an Apple. That's when they say, I bought an Apple. And what they do say is, I bought a Mac, or I bought an iPod, I bought an iPhone, or I bought an iPad. That's what they say. These are brands, people. These are brands. These are allow Apple to put their product inside mine because they're focused on brands that are specific enough. So they mean something. iPhone means something. Sony doesn't mean anything. 3 brands with unique names have made Apple the world's most profitable company and the world's most valuable company. 10 years ago, Apple was nowhere. On the stock market this morning, Apple was worth $611 billion, and Sony was worth $18 billion. Pay attention. Some successful global brands have visual hammers. The watch band of a Rolex. Oh, you got a Rolex, wow. It's the watch band that made Rolex a $5,000 watch, not the fact that it keeps good time. The white earbuds of an iPod. The polo player on a Ralph Lauren shirt. Colonel Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. You go to China, KFC is the largest fast food chain in China today with 5,000 units, all with Colonel Sanders' picture out front. The golden arches of McDonald's, and Mount Fuji, the visual hammer of Japan. How do you build a brand? You narrow your focus. Maybe I've said this before. In order to own a word in the minds of your prospects, then you hammer that word with a vision until you dominate your category. And then you don't expand the brand, you launch a second brand and repeat the process. Thank you for your time and attention.